Hi guys, today we're going to unpack the character of Killua Zoldyck. When you first meet him, it's easy to peg him as the cool, edgy contrast to Gon's bright personality. After all, he has that tragic backstory, the sarcastic comebacks, and a set of lethal skills that definitely get your attention. But to leave the analysis, there is to miss the point of his character entirely. Killua's story isn't about an assassin learning to be a hero. It's a much more intimate struggle, a story about a boy who was raised to be a tool, fighting to believe he has the right to be a person. To understand Killua, you have to understand the environment that created him. The Zoldyck family estate is less a home and more a crucible. It's a place where assassination is the family business and children are assets, valued for their potential lethality. From birth, Killua was subjected to a brutal, systematic conditioning. He was trained to withstand electricity, tolerate a host of poisons, and endure unspeakable torture. But the physical training was secondary to the psychological manipulation. He was taught that he was a creature of darkness, a puppet destined for a life of killing, and that concepts like friendship and love were frivolous, dangerous weaknesses. This conditioning was personified by his older brother, Illumi. Illumi is the voice of the Zoldyck doctrine, a constant reminder that Killua's only value lies in being an assassin. The most concrete example of this control was the Nen needle Illumi secretly implanted in Killua's brain. It was programmed with one core command: run from any fight you aren't certain you can win. This ingrained a sense of cowardice and helplessness, ensuring Killua would never be strong enough to truly break free, because he would never risk himself for something or someone else. So when he walks away from his home, stabbing his mother and brother just to escape, it isn't a simple act of teenage rebellion. It's a desperate first gasp for air from someone who has been suffocating his entire life. And then, during the very first phase of the Hunter exam, he meets Gon. While everyone else is struggling just to survive the marathon run, Killua is coasting along on his skateboard, bored out of his mind. And then this kid, Gon, just runs up alongside him, full of energy and completely unfazed. They start talking, and right away, something is different. Gon is the absolute antithesis of the Zoldyck world. Killua's family life was built on transactions and conditional affection, but Gon offers friendship freely, without question. He finds out Killua is from a family of assassins, and his reaction is just curiosity. He doesn't care. He sees past the Zoldyck name and connects with the person underneath. For Killua, this is a revolutionary concept. But this new friendship is immediately put to the test in the exam's final phase. Killua is forced to confront his brother Illumi, who psychologically tears him down, telling him he has no right to friends and that he'll eventually kill Gon. This mental attack, amplified by the Nen needle still in his brain, sends Killua spiraling. His assassin programming takes over. Convinced he's a monster unworthy of being Gon's friend, he forfeits the match. Then, with a chillingly blank expression, he kills Bodoro to intentionally disqualify himself. The look on his face isn't pride or rage, but the empty, soulless stare of a puppet whose strings were just pulled. He's terrified of the monster he was forced to become again, and more importantly, how this new friend, Gon, will see that monster. This kicks off the central conflict that defines Killua for most of the story. The war within himself. It's his assassin's instincts versus his growing devotion to his friends. Every time he reverts to his cold, calculated training, it's followed by a wave of self-loathing. He truly believes he's unworthy of Gon's friendship, that it's only a matter of time before his darkness poisons everything. He carries the weight of his family's expectations everywhere, a constant voice whispering that he will eventually betray, abandon, or fail the people he cares about. The moment he finally confronts this, pulling Illumi's needle from his own head, is one of the most significant moments in the entire series. It's a violent, painful act of self-realization. By removing the needle, he's not just removing a physical object. He is rejecting the Zoldyck philosophy. He is choosing to accept risk, He is choosing to believe that protecting his friends is more important than protecting himself. This fundamental shift redefines his entire concept of strength. For the Zoldicks, strength was a tool for assassination, a measure of efficiency and lethality. After meeting Gon and removing the needle, strength for Killua becomes a means of protection. This evolution is perfectly crystallized in his development of Nen. As a transmuter, he molds his aura into electricity, a power perfectly suited for the family business of killing. But he twists its purpose, and this new mindset materializes in his Nen ability, Godspeed. This power represents a complete reframing of his skills. Instead of using his speed and electricity just for a clean kill, he now uses them to become a living shield for those he cares about. Godspeed is designed to intercept threats, to neutralize an enemy before they can even touch his friends. While his singular focus during the Chimera Ant arc is keeping Gon safe, it's the most intense display of a broader commitment. He takes the very training meant to turn him into a perfect assassin and repurposes it to be a dedicated protector for his friends. His journey comes to a head in the 13th chairman election arc. This is where Killua's growth is put to the final test. To save a dying Gon, he has to rescue his other sibling, Alluka, from the Zoldyck family's prison. This time, he doesn't run, he confronts his family head-on. He uses his intellect, his strategic mind, and his intimate knowledge of his family's twisted logic against them. He's not fighting to kill them, he's fighting to save someone he loves. He successfully navigates the dangerous rules of Alluka's power and stands up to Illumi, not with murderous intent, but with steadfast protective resolve. And after everything, he makes the most mature decision of his life. He separates from Gon. This isn't a tragic split, but a necessary evolution. He now has a new, all-consuming purpose, protecting Alluka and giving her a life free from being used as a tool. He understands that this responsibility requires a different path from Gon's, whose own journey is now about meeting Jing and figuring out his future. More than that, Killua does it for himself. His entire journey has been about finding an identity outside of what others have defined for him, first as a Zoldyck, and then as Gon's best friend. To truly be his own person, he needed to walk a path he chose for himself. This act is the final step in his emancipation. He's no longer just a follower or a bodyguard. He is now simply Killua, Alluka's protector, a person with his own independent purpose. So guys, that was the video. Killua is really something else, isn't he? Going from a cold-blooded assassin to someone who would do anything to protect his friends is one of the best character developments out there. He's a perfect example of how it's not where you come from that defines you, but the choices you make. Let me know what you think in the comments. And that was it for today.